Hayward working at the top. He comes off a Favors pick to the right. They trap it. He bounces it to Clark, who finds in the middle of the Favors. Beautiful pass to Canner for a layup. That is fabulous basketball.
This is Alec Burks. Welcome to the night's edition of Jazz Basketball. Remember, play with the pass.
That is playing with the pass. We missed you last night. Alec, it is time for tip-off. We're going to look at the Jazz defense. Was it really that awful? And am I right that everyone feels like they're jumping off the cliff today? We'll try to calm the Jets a little bit. Plus, look at an NBA 5 and one of the funniest NBA stories I've ever heard. It's all coming up on today's edition of Tip-Off. Pop, 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 pop. Pow! How are you? Welcome to the show. I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. A little bit of a funky show today. Real life is going to kick in here. I'm hoping our sprinkler system in the house is leaking goo all over everything. They've had to rip up the walls. It sucks. So, anyway, it means the guy was supposed to be here at 8. He's not here. It's 8:30. I got to get on my day, so I'm going to do this. There's a chance at some point I'm getting up and going to help him, and then I'll figure out how I edit it later. But so here's the plan. Were the Jazz that bad last night? And I'll tell you what, no. Toronto was awesome. And we've learned two things about this team, and we'll talk about it today. One is that if they face a really, really good offensive team, they're not there yet. They can't handle that. And then the second thing is that when they go to the bench, it gets ugly. So we'll kind of break it down. I do have the vibe from Jazz Nation a little bit. I was silly enough to go read the internet, that people are really kind of at wit's end. And I think in some cases, let's talk about it. Let's try to figure it out. So throw out your questions to me, and that. We'll do an NBA 5 as well. Reminder for you, by the way, that you can follow us on Facebook at Locked On Sports. There's been a big jump up and increase in that. Appreciate that. I'm also on Facebook at David Locke. Twitter, at Locked On Sports, probably. Google Plus community has jumped as well recently. I really appreciate those things. It's a big deal if you take a second on both iTunes and Stitcher to leave a comment about our show and give us 5 stars. That's how they place us so other people see it, things like that. These are all important things. I appreciate you doing it so much. I appreciate your passion as an NBA and Jazz fan. The season's been just terrific so far, and look forward to talking about it. So, all right, let's do it. Let's have a little fun. Let's break down first with the NBA 5.
This is Steve Novak, and you are Locked On Jazz.
Thank you very much, Steve Novak. The Philadelphia 76ers, the team that shall not be mentioned, and the Minnesota Timberwolves played last night, and they started the game going the wrong direction. Could that only be so apropos? Only other thing that could be so Murphy's Law apropos is that my guy just arrived. So in a second, I'm going to run, let him in, and when the doorbell rings, and come back. I'll be gone for like 10 seconds, so don't leave me. But anyway, we'll continue with the NBA 5. It's just going to be long. So they started going the wrong direction. Philadelphia gets a win, which is good because I was looking at their schedule, and I was very, very nervous that they were going to end up coming to here December 27th without a win, and then we'd be in line for being the first one. I didn't want that to happen. So nice to see that they actually got a win along the way, but it's interesting to I love the fact they started the wrong direction. There's a great website called Nylon Calculus. They do a bunch of numbers thing. I thought they did some really interesting stuff yesterday I want to share with you. The Denver Nuggets have clicked in, and I tweeted this out the other day that with Gallinari has played, they're really good. I think they're like 40-20 the last 60 games he's played. Well, turns out that when Gallinari and Lawson are on the floor together, the Nuggets per 48 minutes are plus 11. When only Lawson, they're plus about 0.6. When only Gallinari, they're plus 2. When neither of them are on the floor, they're minus 27. I'll be right back. I'm back. Sorry about that. For those people that just joined, are like, where was he? So anyway, the guy came. So I thought that was an interesting note. Then they did a little breakdown on Phoenix that Dragic and Thomas are not working together. When the two of them are on the floor together, which has only been about 12% of their minutes, they're -9. When Thomas is on the floor without Dragic, they're pretty good. With Dragic, just isn't the same this year. Though they're still 11-8, but keep an eye on that. By the way, I think Oklahoma City makes playoffs. I think we're going to have all 8 Western Conference teams back in the playoffs for the first time, which is kind of I don't think that's happened in like 10, 15 years. Charlotte, interesting. Al Jefferson and Marvin Williams together, they're not very good defensively. With only Marvin and no Al, they're terrible defensively. With neither of them, they're great. They're at 93.7. They just can't space the floor and score. It ends up that that seems to be maybe that they're back in the Jazz game of where things are a little bit. The other one that Nylon Calculus did was the players that their teams are most dependent on. So Atlanta has to have Kyle Korver on the floor. Gordon Hayward in Utah is number 2 that they're most dependent on Hayward. Sellinger 3 and Teletovic is 4 in Brooklyn. By the way, I really like the itches of Brooklyn. Teletovic and Bogdanovic both are really nice, good players in Brooklyn. Like a lot what they're doing along the way. Another one to keep an eye on watching, I've for some reason seen a lot of Atlanta recently. Dennis Schroeder and Jeff Teague have turned into a pretty neat combo in Atlanta's offense, which is the same as the Jazz offense, so worth keeping an eye on. And some nights Schroeder is closing, some nights Teague is. They're both becoming, with that open space, pretty dynamic and really playing well. They also have great shooters along the way. Rookie Mircik had 12 and 11 last night for Chicago. Big win for them. They scored 30 points in the fourth quarter against Charlotte, which shows you how broken Charlotte is. And the story of the night last night really has to be Dallas. Championship-level 2-game stretch by the Mavericks to go into Chicago, win, then the next night without Dirk in Milwaukee after double overtime. Very, very impressive all the way around for those guys. Have to say, I thought that they that was big time.
Hey, this is Dante Exum. I want to hear from you. Call 801-200-3738 and ask me a question. That is 801-200-3738 to ask me a question.
All right, let's talk some Jazz. I feel like there's a level of panic or frustration or something right now. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the majority of you that listen to this are understanding, kind of knew this coming in. I thought Ron said it well last night on Postcast. We all knew this was coming. Now that it's come, it's like, oh, gosh, again. And I would say, hey, being down 17 in 7 straight games is a little tough to swallow. I think we're about 30th ranked in first half of games. Those things have got to get rectified along the way. But a few things specifically last night. Toronto's really good. I mean, they're 15-4. They're the number 2 offensive team in the league. And then we're really thin. And, I mean, our bench right now is a 19-year-old point guard. If Rodney Hood, who wasn't on the bench last night, so it's Ian Clark, who's an undrafted player who's not Wesley Matthews, guys. Joe Ingles, undrafted. And been around Europe I like Joe, but he's been around Europe for a while, right? Like, it's time for him to come over and try, and he's got a role, but, undrafted. Trevor Booker, who's a nice, solid player. And Rudy Gobert's played 66 NBA games. Okay, right? So you got a 19-year-old who's played not 19 games, an undrafted guy who's played about 10 or 15 games, another undrafted guy who's played 19 games. You got Trevor Booker, who's a veteran, and you've got Rudy Gobert's played 66 games. Our starters last night were -1. It's the same story every night. Our starters are actually okay, and I don't think that matches very well. It's got all sorts of problems. It's not going to be our final group. I mean, we've entirely lost a corner 3 game, somewhat when Alex in there because he catches corner 3 and drives every time, never takes a shot, and so then you don't stretch the floor the same way. Whether there's all sorts of things. But that's who we are right now. One thing you always got to look at a team and ask yourself, have they done this before? So, for example, take the Phoenix Suns last year that were the surprise team that everyone was hoping that we were going to emulate a little bit, and go to what they were doing last year. So their starting point guard. I'm going to try to do this off the top of my head, and hopefully I'll get it all right. Their starting point guard was Goran Dragic. Okay, he had started for different portions of 5 different years. He'd been the starter the year before. He'd started the second half in Houston. I mean, he had done that before. That was a comfortable position for him to be in the NBA. Okay, their starting Gerald Green had started before in the NBA. Was completely comfortable with that rose. Last year, Marquise Morris and Marcus Morris were coming off the bench. They had done that before. PJ Tucker had been a starting small forward before. Eric Bledsoe started some, which was new, and he stepped up to the challenge very impressively. He was also injured. Channing Frye started 82 games for them. He had done that before. You ran through their roster last year of their guys, and they didn't play young guys. Alex Len played almost none. Archie Goodwin played almost none. They're all had that role at some point. Nobody was being asked to do anything that was really that new. We could do Charlotte, I guess. Charlotte a year ago, similar circumstance. Josh McRoberts had been a starting 4 in the league. Al had obviously done it before. Gerald Henderson had started before. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist was in his second year and still developing, but done it before. Kemba probably had the weakest year of anyone. He was in his 3rd year as a point guard. Had done it before. He didn't have a particularly good year last year. And then you look at their bench guys last year. They were Luke Ridnour and Ramon Sessions and Anthony Tolliver, and all of those guys had done it before. Who's the surprise team this year? We could look at. We could take the Milwaukee Bucks. Well, all right. Well, they've got Brandon Knight as their point guard, who's in his 4th year as a starting point guard in the NBA, basically at this point, or something close to it. Jabari's a first number 2 pick of a draft. He's probably playing the least well of anyone. He's doing something new. I would say Antetokounmpo. It's a little new. I don't think he started at the end of last year, but not the whole way through, so I would put him in the new category of things. Their bench is Gerald Bayless, longtime backup 3rd guard, Jared Dudley, longtime wing, John Henson, done that, Ilyasova's in probably his 7th year of the league, O.J. Mayo might be in his 9th or 10th year, Zaza Pachulia used to be a starter, Larry Sanders has been a starter. There's nothing new to them. Look at us for a second. Who are the guys that are playing well for us? Gordon Hayward's playing well. Nothing new. Same thing. Year experience. Derek Favors is playing pretty well. Okay? Trevor Booker's playing pretty well. Same role. Nothing new. Nothing to be learned. He's done it before. Trey. I'd say it's still pretty new, right? I mean, he's at 88 games in his NBA career. And frankly, Trey might be exactly who we're seeing. I think that's still, but let's let him get to base level strength of an NBA player before we really evaluate him. Let's look at let's let him learn a few tricks and see some things and figure out how he's going to succeed in this league. But, right now he's shooting 38%, 32% from 3. That's not good enough. But, maybe we're going to find out that, like Kemba Walker, that's who he is. Really good 4th quarter player, so not a great shooter, and he's going to learn how to facilitate and do some things differently. Hey, there's a chance that all of our guys aren't perfect. But Alex doing something new when he's on the floor. Ennis is starting really for the first time in his NBA career. Gobert's a rotation player for the first time. Dante, it's all brand new. Joe, it's all brand new. Rodney, it's all brand new. Okay, well, that leads to a team that struggles. That's a reality of who we are. Does it mean anyone's failing? Nope. Does it mean anyone's to blame? Nope. It's where we are in this process. Long process. We knew this. We've talked about it. It's just hard when it's happening. I actually will tell you, and we're going to do this together, and for those of you that are on the audio version, I will do the best I can to make this somewhat feasible. In fact, I'm going to take, if there's any questions, I might grab them now. I don't know if there are, because I posted late because I didn't know what time we were going to go today. I'm going to go through, and we're going to watch, until you get bored, the 45 makes of the Toronto Raptors. And what you're going to see is that the structure of the defense is there. Guys are doing the right thing. They're beginning to get it. Are they assertive enough? No. Are they impacting games? No. Are they good? No, not really. But is the process beginning to come together? Yes. Are they, most of them, doing it for the first time? Yes. Okay? Takes time. Our average starting age of our starting lineup is 22 years old last night. It's the second youngest starting lineup in the history of the Jazz organization, other than the one that started at the end of last year, which is this group. Look around the NBA. Can you find me young teams that are good defensively? No, you can't. Can you find me teams where guys are all doing things most of the guys are doing things for the first time that are very good? All right, I wasn't planning to do this, but let's grab the defensive ratings of the 5 youngest teams in the NBA right now. This, I don't know I don't know how you feel about this. I guess all I'm trying to let you know is that we're not alone, I guess, or there's not some major colossal failure taking place here. And what were the expectations? Vegas had us at 25 wins. They usually know something. Let's say that Vegas was wrong and they had us at 31, 32. We could still get there. I'm not sure it's realistic with our bench to get there. But as I said last night, overall, we're ranked 23rd in the NBA. Okay. Well, we were 28th last year. That's actually progress. We're ranked 16th offensively. We're getting there. Are there things to be worked on? Absolutely. Should we get better as the year goes on? Absolutely. But let's look at the 5 youngest rosters in the NBA on opening night. They are, I believe, we're the 3rd, so I'm doing this off the top of my head, but I believe they are Boston, Orlando, Utah, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia. Milwaukee's a little funky because it has the 2 19-year-olds. Okay, so Philadelphia, who's terrible, actually only ranks 16th defensively, to their credit. That's all they can do. They're a little of an anomaly. Milwaukee has become pretty good defensively with Larry Sanders in the middle. Give them credit. They're 8th. Utah's 28th. Orlando's 17th. Boston's 26th. Okay? We're the worst of the group, but it's not surprising. Like, you look around at the young, that's kind of where we are. Nothing's terribly broken here. Let's do it. Let's take some time. By the way, special shout out to Matt from Seattle, who I met last night at the game. Nice to meet you. And special shout out to Matt from San Diego, if you're tuned in today. It's just for the Matts. It's only for Matts. How much, if any, of Hayward's success this season can be attributed to the matchup more often against opposing small forwards instead of guards? Oh, great question. I don't know. Riley Lewis with a great question. I don't know the answer to that question. What I do think is fascinating on Hayward is one of the reasons I attributed him to having such a poor season last year was that so much of his baskets were unassisted. That he went from being 70% of his baskets assisted to 50% unassisted. He's like at 44% unassisted, or 44% assisted right now. Like it's actually gotten worse for him. He's making more one-on-one plays. Now, to the credit of the offense, that probably means that there's more space for him to make plays than there has been in the past, and the system's working, or he's coming off picks. He's getting put in a better position on the move when he catches the basketball. This offense is pretty good, by the way. The offensive structure in Quinn's offensive mind is really special. It's timing based, and I watch them in practice, and you see the plays, and the plays are awesome, and then you see them miss the timing. In fact, we watched that final play the other night where they just didn't run it quite right. The timing was off. Why is the timing off? Because they've done it for 19 games, right? That's the reality. That's unfortunate. We'd like, as Quinn said last night, we'd like the magic pill, but the magic pill doesn't necessarily exist right away. Right, that's just it. Let me see if I can find the number that I was looking for on Gordon Hayward. I might not be able to. No, I hate this. The NBA site only has what? Oh, no. Field goals assisted is at 43% right now for Hayward. So give Gordon credit, but also the offense has done some things. All right, let's do it. For those of you on the audio podcast, you might want to, we're at about the 20-minute mark. You might want to just tune in right at the 20 minutes. We're going to I'm going to flip the video onto the 45, and there'll be some commercials in here we're going to have to deal with and things like that. The 45 makes of the Toronto Raptors. And they'll play 15-second commercials because the NBA wants to
make your shots
to make their money and all that kind of stuff. And we love Bowler, but we're going to turn him off. So let's go to the screen share. See how it comes up. I'm using a new program. It's a little small, isn't it? Let's see if I can expand it at all. Can I get this to be any bigger? No, I really can't. No, I can't make it any better. Oh, I can go full screen. Do you get full screen if I do? All right, this is hysterical. I can't tell whether you get full screen or not. So I'm going to need someone in the chat room to tell me whether you just got full screen, because I'm going to bring it out of full screen. And now check again with you whether you got that in full screen. Anybody in the chat room? Anybody watching? I guess that's only Niall that can tell me whether he's the only one in the chat room right now. I'm going to hope you get that full screen. I'm going to move forward unless Niall quickly tells me something here so that you can actually see it a little bit better. So Niall is not telling me anything. So I'm going to go full screen and see if you guys get it a little bit better. So here's the first play. And that's not good. Okay, Amir Johnson gets behind Cantor. That's not good. Great. Okay. Let's walk through it. Johnson sprinted the floor, beat him down the floor. Here comes Kyle Lowry. Early drag screen. You know what? I'm going to go to the small screen. Hopefully you can see it because I can pause it better. It doesn't clip. Okay, so we'll back this up. And we'll try to walk you through what the Jazz are supposed to do defensively here. Okay, Vasquez comes up early. Gets in the paint. Cantor is supposed to build a wall. Trey got beat a little bit there, thinking there was a pick. Vasquez hands it off to Johnson, little hopper. They stop it, out to Ross, run off the three-point line. He pulls up and hits a nice shot. Okay. So suddenly, and we're only watching their makes. Trey comes and picks up Vasquez. They're going to start on the left side of the floor. They run a nice little cross-screen Valanciunas in the post. Look at Cantor, battles him great. That's good defense right there. Now, what's supposed to happen? Hood's supposed to slide over on the weak side with Lowry over there. He's there. Favors supposed to stay to his man. Let's see what the action is. Okay, Trey's digging down correctly. Hayward's at the nail where he's supposed to be. Hood is in the post. Now, everyone's arms are down. Okay, there's a step. There's a process. They're in the right spot. Are their arms up? Are they looking big? Are they having an impact? No. That's what you're going to see here. Okay, so Valanciunas is working the post. They kick up to Vasquez. Hayward's got to be at the nail to prevent Vasquez from driving to the basket. Oh, look, he's right there. Hood's supposed to be in the paint to make it look like a crowd so he can get back to Lowry. And if Hayward has to help, then Hood can stunt at Ross, who's over here on the left side. Okay, Vasquez drives. Gordon left the area too early. All right, we're getting there. Ross is a good three-point shooter at 43%, and Trey got beat pretty badly on that dribble drive. That's not great, but it's a step. Hayward's got to stay there for a step longer. Trey's got to do a little bit better job on the ball. But the structure's being there. Also, there's just a lack, Hayward's got arms out, make an impact, make it be seen. Okay, Lowry coming up. Trey's got the matchup here. They'll disguise. This is a neat little play. They run a cross screen, and they're going to run a high pick and roll here for Lou Williams here in the first quarter. Let's see how the Jazz come out of it. The big is Valanciunas setting the pick, so Favors. First thing is Ian Clark's defending, and Clark's got to shade him one way or the other, depending what they want. I think ideally they'd like to push him down. Clark's going to push him back to the middle, which they don't really want to do. So now Cantor's pretty confused because the defense is really supposed to be that Cantor's shading on this side because I think Clark's supposed to force him down, and he didn't. So that's a little tricky, but look at this. Nice job by Trey. Trey steps in the lane, helps. Derek's over like he's supposed to be. Hayward's over like he's supposed to be, and they cut it off. Now the pass comes over to Lowry. Tough job by Trey. He's got to try to jet back. He probably didn't take the best of angle. That's an experience thing right there. Lowry penetrates. Favors cuts him off. That's great defense. And Lowry hits a twisting, fadeaway, falling jumper. That's good D right there. Kept him to a mid-range jumper. Prevented the penetration. All of those things
every cut
were good.
Can be quick.
Now they're doing a commercial. All right, so what have we seen the first 5 or 6 plays? We've seen the spots are right. Quite an understanding of it's not totally there. The arms aren't out. There's not enough an impact. You're not playing actually with a confidence. You're playing with a group that maybe doesn't quite entirely understand how to do it, what they have to do yet. They haven't had success with it. They remind me of a group that, frankly, a guy who's put 3 straight balls in the woods on the tee box and now isn't quite sure with their next drive how they're going to approach it. All right, here we go. So Williams comes over right side. Pick coming from, it actually looks like a pick coming from Lowry. So an interesting little set here, trying to maybe create a switch. Instead, they swing. Now it's back to Lowry at the top. So they're going to, it's all a lot of music right there. So now they can get to the chorus, and the chorus is going to be the high pick and roll with Valanciunas. So Cantor's supposed to stay back. Trey's going to get the pick. He's supposed to go under Valanciunas on the pick. Let's see how they do it. Trey forces him to that side. Cantor's supposed to shadow it. Does it well. Trey got caught on the top side of it. Probably wanted to get to the bottom side of it. Favors is where he's supposed to be at the elbow right here to help with the defense, to make Lowry shade it. Cantor's done a nice job. He's guarding the area. Push out to Patterson. Favors closes the dude. Patterson hits a 3. That's why spacing 4s are valuable. When you got a driving point guard and a spacing 4, it's just a B word. Okay? What do we got here? Lowry early penetration. Booker and Cantor close the middle like they're supposed to. Kick out to the wing. Booker closes. Patterson comes, bumps his back, sways in, hits a hook shot. All right. A little more resistance from Trevor would have been nice. That's just hey, the NBA guys are good. Remember, we're only watching makes. Okay, Lou Williams, early action. This is tough. Fakes toward the pick, which is Hansbrough. Crosses over to his right hand. Cantor's probably supposed to slide. Let's see what happens. Cantor slides. Pretty well done. Hayward staying on James Johnson in the corner. Trey could probably be down a step so he could get back. Booker's up pretty high. Remember, Patterson beat him the last 2 plays. And they call a foul on Cantor. More time on the floor, more recognition needs, maybe a step earlier, cuts that off. Pretty good play. Tough, particularly because when he took that jab step left, Cantor thinks his job's going to be on the other side. When he crosses back over, he deals with that. That's a tough play. But that's not terrible defense. Still take it side out of bounds. Ingles has now come into the game. Hood's in the game. So we now have, we've got a first-year. Look how young this team is that's on the floor. You've got a first-year starter in Cantor. You've got Ingles, who's an undrafted free agent. You've got Hood, who's played 8 games in his NBA career. And you've got Trey Burke in his 88th game. Okay? Post up Johnson right side. He drives the baseline. Cantor has got to come over and get here, right? There he is. Maybe a step late again, but pretty good. Hood comes also questionable because I think Hood's supposed to probably drop down on a Hansbrough. And Johnson scores it. Cantor is not 7 feet tall. If he's 7 feet tall, that's a different play. Okay. This is Joe Ingles commits a turnover here. It's our first turnover of the entire night, if I remember correctly on this play. We hadn't turned the ball over all night. Huge step forward. We're 30th in the league in turnovers. Okay, fast break. There's nothing you can do. You're dead in the NBA if you commit a turnover on that side of the free throw line. Every time you're dead. So that's on the offense. I don't know how long you guys want me to stay with this. We'll hold with it for a little bit longer. Here's another half-court set. Hood at the top. Right side Vasquez. All right, pick is coming. Trey has got to show the defender where he's trying to force him with his feet. So the minute Cantor tells him he's there, Trey supposed to step into the body of Vasquez and try to force him away from this pick down toward Cantor. Instead, they throw the pass. Beautiful back cut. Hood gets caught on it. Booker's supposed to hedge out for a step. He's too late to it. Lou Williams is just that quick and that good. That's a beautiful offensive set. Give Casey credit. Got beat on it. Another commercial. Same stuff. We're kind of seeing the same stuff over and over again, though. which I guess means you could probably end it. But let's keep watching because you'll see. I mean, this is we're getting blitzed here in this game, and some of this is Lou Williams is really good. Could have, Rodney probably needs to get up on his body a little bit more, impede his action. All right, Rodney's going to learn that. Okay, fast break, early opportunity. Got to build a wall defensively. Can they build a wall? Booker's not his bad getting back. Cantor's back. Cantor's got a miserable job here. Ingles has got to drop in. Tough jobs here. Cantor's got to try to step in and slow progress while not losing Patterson. Ingles has got to get in line without losing a 40% shooting Ross. And I would say whoever this is that's watching the ball right now probably should get back a little bit more. It's Rodney Hood. Okay? And Vasquez makes a crazy tough shot over Trey Burke. But that pickup point's got to be higher. That wall's got to be a little bit better in transition. A little more attention detail. That one's not good, I would say. That Hood and Ingles were not in the right spot. Okay. Combined NBA games, 36. High pick and roll to close the quarter. This is just a nasty play. All right, Lou Williams wants to go left. You force him right. Nobody's coming on a pick. You're all by yourself. You're going to force him right. Your force crosses over to his left. Bye. Bam. Okay, the dude's good. That's just a dude being good. And suddenly you've allowed 31 points. And again, we're only watching the makes. Right? We can find, well, there weren't a lot of misses, but okay. High pick and roll. Dante Exum defending. Let the defender know which way he's going to go. Pick's coming on his back side. They end up not setting it. So now Ingles has got to guard Vasquez. Hands pro setting the pick. There's some neat little action, by the way, there early that forces the Jazz guard up high on the Toronto guard. That then creates a ton of space for the next guard. It's pretty well done. Okay, Gobert is the big, dealing with Hansbrough. He doesn't have to worry about him shooting, so he slides back in. Gordon's got Ross over here in the corner. He's trying to cut off the lane as well. And they come back to the top. Nifty play by Toronto, and that same back screen we saw a moment ago. This time Booker guards it much better off his man, cuts off Williams. They flare back to Patterson. Booker closes at him, and Patterson makes a hell of a play. And remember, Patterson hit a 3 earlier. Okay, that's just a beautiful offensive set that's run very well, and we were okay with it. Not brilliant, obviously not great. We're 28th in the league defensively. But that's not a lack of effort. That's them making good plays. Ours guys getting in positions, them having another thing to it. Turnover here up top. If you turn it over above the free throw line, you're dead in the NBA. Like, that's clear every single time. What do we got coming here? Okay, we're into the second quarter. We're about to get run out of the gym. Ingles guarding Vasquez. This is a terrible matchup, everybody. Do we all get this? Joe Ingles guarding Vasquez at 30 feet is a terrible matchup. We saw Ian Clark. I mean, like, this is a talent issue. They run a bunch of their fake action into a high pick and roll. That makes it tough, by the way, because this guy just cleared out this way, and now Amir Johnson and Gobert's supposed to just stay at the free throw line, hold ground. Vasquez buries the 3. All right, they're just good at that point. Rudy did his job. He protected the lane. Joe's supposed to get under that pick probably a little better than he did, but that's not Joe's strength. That's not a good matchup for Joe. And Vasquez buries the 3. That's just 34% shooter burying a 3 off the dribble on a pick and roll.
Growing up, they told me I wasn't good enough.
That's big time.
That kind of message.
Jimmy Graham degree commercial coming your direction for 15 seconds. I don't know what you're seeing here, but I'm seeing, one, they're good. Okay, they're 15-4, the number 2 offense in the NBA. 2, we're trying to play a structured system. Our guys are making the effort. There's a lack of confidence. They're not playing it with a lot of inertia on the other team. Quinn talks about force. Those things will come if they can handle these kind of stretches of frustration. Here's Lowry on Exum. Welcome to the NBA. You're guarding Kyle Lowry. Dante does a hell of a job staying with him here. All right, high pick and roll. They're going to run the same thing. What's supposed to happen? Rudy's supposed to shade out to the right side as Dante forces him that side. Then Dante's supposed to get around this pick. But look where that pick is set. That's a hard pick to go down below. Gordon's supposed to slide in, and whoever this is, I can't see because the circle is supposed to be at the nail in the middle of the free throw line. Okay, there it is. Dante goes under the pick beautifully. Gobert shadows it. That might be Ian Clark again. I can't tell who that is right there. That's pretty good defense right there by the Jazz. Let's see how this play plays out. Cross-court pass to Vasquez, and he nailed it. All right, so what else could have happened? Let's look at that one, because this is really interesting stuff. This is a good NBA offensive team. Lowry comes around the pick. This is guarded pretty well. Clark's here. Hayward's here. Hayward's supposed to come out toward Vasquez and get back to Ross. Does he do it? Yep, he digs at him to get back to Ross. There's a 43% shooting three. You got to make sure you take away that shot, and Vasquez buries the shot. Guess what that is? That's them being good. That also might be Ian Clark being 6'3", by the way. If Ian Clark's 6'6" on that play, maybe it looks a little different. Here's Vasquez, open court, driving at Clark. Off-balance runner. All right, now he's hot. Another one maybe where Clark just 6'3". Just why do you go undrafted? Because you're 6'3" and instead of 6'6". Sounds stupid, but it really matters. Okay, now they're just on fire. Chances are we're about to turn it over, commit a fatal turnover. So they've just made 3 really, really good plays since we're only watching the makes. Clark drives. Oh, look at that. Fatal turnover. And let's see, can we build a wall fast enough defensively? Favors gets back kind of, driving Ross. One dribble is left, pull up, bam. Yeah, just, game's over. They made a bunch of plays. You made some turnovers. They're doing things well. They're good. Okay, left side Vasquez. Back to the top to Lowry. Look at Hood, up on his body. That's the first time we're seeing someone really play defense here. They bring it back to Vasquez. Trey gets buried on a quick pick by Amir Johnson. Trey's probably got to be more alert. I don't know if Derek talked. What else is supposed to be happening here? Favors is down like he's supposed to be. Hood's got to slide down and help on the tap on the roll guy. And Hayward's got to they're trying to prevent the middle drive. Vasquez comes around. Cantor's there. Hood's got to take a step in a little bit. Bounce pass inside to Johnson. The guys get back pretty well. Johnson makes play. Hood's got to come in one more step. Okay, he's a little tentative. He's guarding Lowry. He's got to understand it. And frankly, if he takes the step in, guess what? Vasquez has been around this league long enough. You know what he does? He goes and hits Lowry on the outside. That's what happens when you're playing number 2 offense in the NBA. They're good. Open court. Leave it behind for Lowry. Banging 3. Hood tried to get out. They're on fire now. And we're only watching makes. But this is most of the shots. And they're rolling now. And the game gets away from you like that. We'll watch one more sequence if you're enjoying this. If you've watched this for 40 minutes, you're actually this into it, you can watch it for minutes. I think there's like 5 of you. I appreciate you, though. Okay, it's 50-39. 5 minutes left in the second quarter. Lou Williams to the top. Marked up by Ingles. Disastrous matchup, by the way. Okay, high pick and roll. Cantor's supposed to stay back as he is right in this area. Ingles has got to direct him one way, probably go under the pick at this point to get under. Favors has got to keep an eye on Johnson. Trey's got to step in to be able to help to cut off the drive, but also be aware of Lowry and Hayward to the middle. Let's see what happens. Look at that. Cantor steps out correctly. Trey's probably could come in another step. Ingles trying to get back. Hayward's done a nice job of getting in the lane. Keep probing, and Cantor just falls down. The defense is breaking down a little bit here. I could argue that Hayward should have made some impact on that, some other stuff. Open floor. Guys are jogging. This isn't great. Hayward's jogging back with his man instead of getting into the middle of the floor. You're down. You're down 12. You're beginning to lose a little juice. Lowry probes. Cantor stays with him. They circle him out. Nice job. All right, now they match up defensively. Cantor and Favors communicate to get back to their men. Hayward's got his guy. There you go, Valanciunas in the post. And then Cantor's got to put his hands up. Okay, it's little things. It's little things. But guys are making effort. Guys are trying to get there. The fact is you're not seeing a lot of blow-bys. You're not seeing a lot of non-help. You're not seeing a lot of guys getting in the lane. Here's another one. High pick and roll. Same thing. All right, now we've changed our defensive coverage. Cantor now is going to hedge out, which he's not great at. Trey's going to go under the pick and reattach. Oh, look at that. We did it. Except for the fact that Lowry rose up into a 3 and buried it. Again, we're watching only makes. You go find some misses and see these guys do it right. Here's the last one. Lou Williams. Okay. Ingles jumps to the front side, force him down into favors. Cantor probably should be back a little further. He's looking for his guy, but it's Patrick Patterson who's shooting 40% from three this year, so maybe not. Trey's got Lowry. He's over on the side shading. Hayward's done a nice job there. Look at that. They trap it well. He splits the double team, which isn't great. Gets in lane, kicks to. Here comes the drive. His favors get over in time, and Trey has got to come down to help. He doesn't. Slam dunk. Pretty attentive, hard to leave Lowry. You got to learn that. And a little bit of a scattered play. We can watch one more. Trey on Lowry. Left side, Lou Williams. Valanciunas post. Let's check where everybody is. Trey's down on the nail. He could dig, but that's leaving Lowry wide open. Cantor's probably where he should be, but his big is Patrick Patterson out here. And there's a back pick being set on Ingles so that he can't get back out to that to help. And Valanciunas makes a tough little shot. They're good. Maybe is the moral of the story. More than anything else, they're really good. I don't know if that showed you anything. I don't know if you like that, but that's the show. Have a good one.